why I said that like that. Doesn't matter. Welcome to the Field of Streams, where I, your host, Janine McRae, bring you the tiny thoughts that stream from my brain and present them to you as though they're a lifetime supply of a special disappearing powder that you can sprinkle on dog poop so that it instantly vanishes into thin air and you never have to pick it up with only a thin layer of plastic between you and your doggy's doo-doo ever again. And if you have a cat, here's your opportunity to feel superior. But also, know this. The powder can also be used as kitty litter, thus instant vamoose of kitty poopus. Scatological. Now, I can't promise you much with this nonsense, but I can promise you this. I won't keep you long. A promise like that deserves a follow, don't you think? Tap that follow button. Every time you do, a writer achieves nirvana. Let's get straight into this one. It was inspired by a comment from a stranger that I actually got on a tweet. Remember Twitter? See, Twitter used to be this thing where, bored already. But the comment, backstory. I drove all the way to Arizona at the beginning of this year to look at some paintings by an artist I was somewhat obsessed with at the time. Thought I'd take the old mobile office out on the road and camp in the Mojave and somewhere around Santa Fe and maybe go to Taos and check out Dennis Hopper's grave, blah, blah, blah. A great adventure in the whatever part of America that is. This is all irrelevant. The artist was Mark Maggiore. Maggiore. And I'm probably butchering that and I apologise. He paints scenes from the American West. I'm particularly obsessed with how he paints clouds. Anyway, I wrote about it and made a very enthusiastic tweet to share it with the world, and someone just flat out called me pretentious. Fair point, I am pretentious. But it got me thinking, do some people just not feel art or music or have any emotion when they read powerful literature? Do I just feel too much? Should I see a doctor about that? In this post, I pulled one of my old dial-a-hotline pieces, and what I'm about to read to you now is a call between someone who feels way too much when they look at or are in the presence of art, and a proprietor of feelings who will happily, willingly, and not shadily at all sell you an art feelings remover package. Wouldn't that be something? A pill that just takes away all your emotion for beautiful things. Would that be something? Would that be awful? Doesn't matter. Without any further putting you on hold, here is my dramatic reading of this episode called What We Have Here is Failure to Feel. Hello, you have reached the office of Feel Free, where you should feel free to feel free from feelings. How may I free you of feelings today? Oh, hello. Yes, hi. I'm calling about your advertisement in the latest Art Tragics Quarterly, the one about your patent pending art feelings remover. Is that like a soothing balm of some sort, or is there a surgical procedure involved? Your ad is quite vague, derivative of the post-medicine show Period, and has no real strong point of view, so I'm a bit confused. You're having too many feelings while in the presence of art? Yes. That's why I'm calling. It's quite a debilitating case, really. I mean, I'm not at the ear cut-off stage, but I'm definitely looking at myself in the mirror and picturing what the bandage would look like. I just feel too much. I was curious, though. What's the success rate of your procedure or treatment? What is involved exactly? Do you accept bids? Is there a reserve? Whoa. Hold your whistle jacket there, champ. I know you're eager to be rid of the effect of being crippled by and overwhelmed with feelings when you lock horns with art. But like any good exploration of artistic expression, there's a process. We have to put your case up on a wall, so to speak, judge you, and rank you on an arbitrary scale of taste, which you will not be privy to and which will constantly be changing, to determine if you've qualified for treatment due to a prodigy-level talent for feeling art. What? Like, for example, if I said, "There's grant money in this," does that statement trigger any feelings in you? It makes me feel quite anxious, actually. Excellent. I've known folks who are intricately wired for feeling art to vomit on the spot when they hear that.
particularly when I tell them the deadline was yesterday.
What the hell?
Let's begin.
But you haven't even told me what the treatment involves yet. Is the art feelings remover an unobtrusive undergarment I could wear to galleries or concerts? Or is it more...
We are beginning. Prospective patient. Have you ever experienced sudden and unexplainable anger while looking at a piece of art?
Oh boy, have I. Let me tell you about this one time where
And
I
would you describe this anger as full-throated rage or just a mild sort of vexing?
Oh, definitely 0 to 100% rage in a nanosecond situation. It felt like, I don't know, like my mind was a forest of dry old pines and this particular piece of art threw gasoline and a match right in there and whoosh, every tree in that forest went up in flames. A rager, no containment zone.
Ah, the old Kootenai candle response. Love it.
Not sure what that is, but okay. Imagine a bolt of lightning on a dark night, shooting across the sky to strike the fist of its insolence upon the unsuspecting face of a sleeping tree. I was the tree.
Wow, you sure are a wordsy one. And you really love trees. I'm just going to circle overly emotional and vocabulary flexor on this intake form. Let's continue. In that first moment in the same space as this art, tell me, did you feel resentment, fury, and outrage?
Yes, and extreme yes. It surprised me, actually, how negatively I felt about it. Displeasure flames caught the hem of my muslin curtains and burnt my whole house down, actually.
Oh, wait, there's a house in the forest now? Let's just circle metaphor mixer as a precaution. And did you allow these feelings to pass through you at all? Or did you just sit with the feelings and let them burn you right up?
Oh, I sat.
No stop, drop, and roll? Hello? Still there? Let me reframe the question in your flowery talk. Did you allow the feelings to pass harmlessly by, or did you submit to the all-encompassing and explosive concussive forces of all the drama and astronomical heat of a collapsing star?
Yeah, that's it. The star thing. Can you help me?
I'm not finished yet. Let me ask you this. Did you happen to pass by any old masters that day? Or works that would be considered rich folk big D swingers or big A art? Like Matisse? A Van Gogh, perhaps? Any cheeky Rembrandts give you the oily eye?
Yeah. How did you...
But they did not make you mad.
No. Quite the opposite, actually. When I saw the Van Gogh, it was though a choir
That's
of...
enough.
Oh, sorry. I have it quite bad, don't I?
Well, let's not jump to an early diagnosis, shall we? This ain't Dr. Google, you know. Not everything is cancer. Now, physically, did your anger manifest itself in any way?
Yeah. My brain got really loud, like it was banging all the pots and pans in my critical kitchen against each other. Every strike was like, the audacity! Bang! The bombacity! Clang! How dare! Kerrang! Seriously, it felt like that piece of art was a very rough sandpaper, rubbing right on the muscle of my heart. Oh, how it burned!
Wowzers!
Yeah, right? It was like my feelings were a battery left too long in a clock. The acid leaked out and right into me, eating away while making me want to spit. I was clenching my fists and stuff, but my face went really red and my friend said I was huffing like a bull.
No way.
Way. So can you help me?
And did you spit? Was security called?
Pardon?
You said it made you want to spit. Did you spit at the art? I mean, I know the latest trend is to throw soup, but...
Oh, no. The spitting took the form of words, I guess. I said, I hate this. And then I said, piece of art, more like piece of crap.
Huh. Isn't that interesting? You go from being so eloquent and descriptive now, but on the day you went straight to crap. This is really excellent.
So you know what I'm going through?
Oh no, not in the slightest. I don't feel anything when I look at art. A regular, don't give two hoots ornamental owl. That's me. I literally take my own medicine.
You don't feel anything?
What about music?
Huh?
Do you have similar feelings about music? A disproportionately intense response to certain songs?
Oh, don't get me started. There are songs when I hear them, it's as though I'm stuck in concrete. It plugs into my brain via my ears and I'm lost completely, utterly unmoored.
Gotcha. Circling Space Cadet. That's not as bad as it sounds.
I mean, there are things I cannot say in life. There are emotions I cannot express, but some songs, seriously, it's like they say everything I want to with a clarity that makes me weep.
So it's as though they become a conduit for your own expression at that moment.
Exactly.
Also gonna circle bit of a crier, if that's cool.
Sure, I guess. My neck also gets tight, and my chest. Oh, and the sound sort of oozes and seeps into the very flesh of me. When I close my eyes, I see this blue swirling effect, like oil on the surface of water, and it's like a manifestation of the surface skin of my pain and longing, and it just floors me, leaves me destroyed. I can only describe it as a complete soul saturation that permeates every part of my core and being and I don't know.
And do you hit repeat when you get to the end of that song?
Oh, yeah, of course, multiple times. You don't get off the roller coaster when you're having the best ride of your life, do you?
A roller coaster?
Yeah. The fear is the fun is the feels. Oh, wait.
Okay, last thing. Have you ever read a book that you just couldn't stop reading even though it was really doing your head in?
Now that you mention it, there was this one book quite recently where, it was as though each line was pulling my heart along this corridor of understanding that led straight to the kill floor. Slay me right here. I was on the subway reading it, and I mean, wow, the look on my face must have been just one of complete horror. With every line I read, a darker shade of pure blackness formed in my head, and the more my face would freeze into this mask of sheer discomfort. I didn't know words could get so dark, that sentences could be so violent. My eyebrows knit furiously into a sweater of terror, line after line of thrilling dread stomping my teeth in, blacking my eyes, breaking my ribs with consummate ease.
This sounds awful.
Oh, on the contrary, it was absolutely and staggeringly thrilling to read. I mean, I was stunned into gaping mouth silence on the A train, and the sheer malevolence of some of those chapters was breathtaking. I was being emotionally slaughtered in the presence of greatness. With every page turn, I begged to be slain again and again and again.
Good Lord, this is dire. You need serious help.
Actually, this talk has been really helpful, thank you. Just describing all these things, I think I'd hate to lose that feeling. I don't think your treatment is for me. I'm sorry I wasted your time.
But I haven't even got to the...
It's just I don't feel...
That's it. That's the spirit. It's already working.
Ugh. Okay, well, what sort of feedback have you had on the treatment?
Actually, satisfied customers, well, we assume they're satisfied. The treatment tends to remove all kinds of feelings. Report being left with what we call a meh sense essence. It's a take it or leave it kind of vibe. Instead of screaming, I hate this, when they see art, they might shrug and say, I don't see what the fuss is all about. Once you cure the feelings, on a 1 to 10 emotional scale, you'll always register as a solid 5. No hate, no love, no nothing, just general indifference.
Yeah, see, that right there, I don't think I want that. I think I always want to be affected in some way by art, floored by it. I want to cry at the movies and dance in my kitchen. I want to be left gobsmacked by the soaring dialogue of a playwright, or struck dumb by the acting of an absolute icon. I want to feel slapped in the face and held tightly by the embrace of creativity concurrently. And yeah, I want to get angry. I want to rage on the street about the rude insolence of art. And I want to do that forever. I just don't feel that your treatment is for me.
Excellent. I'll put that down as a satisfied customer testimonial on the website, but I'll end it after that 4th word there.
What?
You just said flat out, I just don't feel. That there is book jacket gold, my friend. But quick sidebar, would you by any chance be interested in participating in our Overthinkers clinical trial? We're working on a vaccine right now, and having spoken to you for several minutes, I think you'd be an excellent candidate for it. The hope is to one day create a full course of dead inside serums for a wide range of... Hello? Ugh. Feelers. So dramatic.
And there you have it. Today's feelings. There was one footnote in this post about the term Kootenai candle. The term Kootenai candle has, and I quote, come to refer to the practice of lighting old dead trees on fire in the middle of winter, often using sap or sapwood to start the blaze. So like you'll have a flaming tree in the middle of the snow, a Kootenai candle. It sounds like something drunk people do that sober rangers 100% do not like. Anyway, that's just a fun fact. If you're interested in reading about my Mark Maggiore art safari to go look at clouds out in Arizona and to see some close-ups of said clouds, I put a link to the thing I wrote in the description of this episode. But enough of this ramble. If this was your first episode of Field of Streams, go explore the back catalogue. It's completely bingeable. And if you're a regular, thanks for listening. I really do appreciate you. These missives are designed to inspire creative folk to get out there and make something of their own. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast so that you never miss one. Sign up to read my writing at JanineMcRae.substack.com. But for now, I'll leave you with this. Love what you love, and I'll see you out there making stuff.